with her to get her ready to ride. Now, one thing you'll notice, when I start a colt, I like to start them in a rope hackamore. There's a couple reasons for that. One, the main one is when they're first teaching them these rein commands, you're going to be doing a lot of pulling around with them. You're going to really be pulling their head around until they figure things out. If you got a bit in their mouth, you're just going to cause resentment. It's going to cause a lot of pain, and you're just going to start a lot of problems. And I believe in less is more. I've taught her to flex and to give and to back up off of these rope commands. So I've got basic control over this mare. Now, after about 10 to 15 rides, that's when I'm going to start her in a snaffle. Besides that, if this mare goes to bucking, a bit in her mouth is not going to save me. Now I'm just going to check her, make sure she backs up good, and she does. See if she'll follow a rein command. That's good. You see how I'm having to pull a lot? Well, just imagine if you had that bit in your horse's mouth. You'd be hurting her mouth. And the last thing I want to do is hurt her. Now you notice I got some licking and chewing going on. Her eyes are nice and soft. Her ears aren't pinned. You notice her body is really kind of relaxed. One thing about a Pasifino, they're really wired. When I first started working with her, it's just like a spring ready to explode. And now, just touching her, I can feel she's so much calmer, so much gentler. Now, I like to ride with Makati, right here. Those of you guys that follow Clayton Anderson knows he says to make them go, you squeeze, you cluck, you spank. And you do all three in order. So I'm going to get on her. I'm going to give her a slight squeeze with my legs to get her to go. If that didn't work, I'm going to give her a cluck. And then I'm going to give her a little spank. Go through a progression. If you're real consistent in that, next thing you know, all you have to do is squeeze. I don't ride colts with spurs. I find that most people really don't know how to work a spur properly, and you just cause a lot more problems. You notice I do a lot of wallowing around. I don't want her to fall asleep thinking, oh my God, nobody up there. And then have her just suddenly decide, oops, there's somebody here. A little cluck, and then allow her to walk. I do a lot of circles. I always tell people when you're working with a colt, if you don't know what else to do another circle. Give her a stop. And then you notice how soft I'm trying to be with these rein commands. This mare will never be softer than my first touch. If I come in with 6 pounds of pressure, every time I go to stop her, I will always have to use 6 pounds of pressure. But if I make it a nice soft touch, she'll get a nice soft touch. Your horse will never have a softer touch than your first touch. this might be her first ride in the arena. This isn't her first time in here. I've done about 1/3 of my sessions in this arena. That way I can find out if she's afraid of any spots in here, and I can work it out of her before I start riding her. I find it's a big mistake to make the first time she sees this arena the first time she rides in this arena. That's a recipe for disaster.